So this is a clip from the Master Investor podcast with Wilfred Frost. Never heard of it. Don't know much about it. Let's see what happens.
But nothing really happened. The yen was kind of bouncing around between 78, 82, and 83. And then a contact in Japan, great fellow Funabashi-san, Japanese journalist, thinker, policy person, called and said, there's this fellow called Abe. He had been the prime minister before. Mm-hmm. He's going to come back. I think he could be the prime minister, and he's going to campaign on restoring the Japanese economy, economic strength as national strength, and on a reflationary platform. And then kind of everything fell into line because I believe there were 3 board seats opening on the Bank of Japan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Bank
Gamer,
of Japan
just
had been a group of
remind me when we're close to the
deflationists or disinflationists. So Prime Minister was going to have the opportunity to reconstitute the board, including the governor.
Yep.
So everything kind of fell into line.
Sorry, the president wants you right away.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Well, as you heard there, we were interrupted as the secretary was pulled away by the president to join him in the Situation Room in the White House. We picked up our conversation again a little over an hour later.
Mr. Secretary, I have to say, it's a first, I'm sure a last as well, that an interviewee's been pulled away to go to the Situation Room. How was the president? Was he stressed?
No, the president is in great spirits. The Iranian mission is proceeding well ahead of schedule. And I have to tell you, Wolf, that I've a teenager who's considering military service. And I could give this team my highest compliment, from President Trump to the head of the Joint Chiefs to the Secretary of War. I would say that I would trust my child's life in their hands.
Is this, I'm wondering if this is related to their airstrike on Karg Island earlier today. I don't know when this was recorded, but I'm gonna guess that it might be related to Karg Island. We're cooked, he's lying. I mean, I think that he seems kind of giddy in a way. I think that, again, why the Treasury Secretary is involved at all in discussions about the war is interesting, especially considering they also have the Secretary of Energy in there. And I mean, I think probably what this is about whether or not they should get green light the strike on Karg Island. Nah, he's about to cry.
Well, your child sounds like a brave person, Mr. Secretary, and we want to come to all of those details in a couple moments. But if I may, I want to pick up to where we were, which you just explained your successful trade on the yen, and how you bought into the policies that Abe was going to deliver and what it would do to the market. I was really...
I mean, so for those who don't understand the significance of the strike on Karg Island handles about 90% of the oil that Iran ships out. And so Karg Island is a hugely important area for Iran to defend. And the results of the Karg Island strike earlier, as reported by the US, were taking out basically all military defenses for the island, like all anti-air, everything. And then issuing a threat to Iran saying, if you continue blocking ships from traversing the Strait of Hormuz, then we're going to destroy the civilian infrastructure that allows you to do 90% of your crude oil exports. Which in turn, Iran responded to by saying, we will bomb regional oil facilities across the Middle East if you do that. So that's kind of where things are at right now. And it does seem to me like the game plan right now is to send those 2,500 Marines or so to occupy Karg Island. That seems to be exactly what's happening here. And I mean, it's never a good sign when a member of a cabinet for any president is like, it's a great time to sign up for the military when we're in the middle of a war. Joking aside, why is Bessent so shook? Because, again, if this is accurate, it would mean putting American boots on the ground on Iranian soil, which is an invasion of Iran. And also, if they put boots on the ground on Karg Island, they have no defenses there. So those troops are going into a very unenviable position where they are extremely vulnerable. And if the civilian infrastructure on Karg Island is destroyed, so too go the oil fields of the Middle East. Yeah, this is why the Marines were sent out. Yeah. So he's nervous because this is basically setting up setting up the entire world for an economic hit, the likes of which we haven't seen.
He's struck by something.
And not to mention the fact that sending troops to invade and occupy foreign territory is objectively an act of war. And again, how do I put this? Remember how earlier we talked about how Pete Hegseth was talking about how there'd be no quarter, and I pointed out how what Pete Hegseth is talking about is objectively a war crime under the United States' own law against, for example, declaring that there will be no quarter, which he just did. And offenses like that come with lifetime sentences in prison as a minimum. And war crimes violations include also the death penalty in the United States. And I just want to say, I'm thinking the further we get into this conflict, the closer and closer these people in his cabinet get to realizing that there could be some genuine life or death at play, not just for troops on the ground, but also for themselves if they go down this path. We have laws in this country against this specifically. And I know that there are a lot of people who are very cynical and say, what use are the laws? But the use of the laws is accountability when this regime changes, and it will not be in power forever.
The one bright side to all of this is clean energy might see a huge uptick like never before.
I mean, that is true. It will be a period of extreme suffering, but maybe we'll get the Green New Deal too. Electric Boogaloo. Walter PZ, thank you for subscribing with Prime, and Nathan, thank you for the $5 dono.
I heard you say on the Capital Allocators podcast in November 2024, you said that...
I just want to see his response to another question.
Your boss then, George Soros, asked you about whether Abenomics and the policies would work for Japan and the economy. And you said this, you say, I have no idea, but it will be the market ride of a lifetime. Of course, you're right. You made a lot of money in that trade. I guess now you've switched from investor to policymaker, judging actually whether a policy will deliver or not, as opposed to how things are priced, is all that matters.
Well, and to circle back with the Japanese, the Abenomics, all three arrows have been a fantastic success. So it started out as a market success, and then over time, like with all things Japanese, they were very deliberate and probably took a little more than Westerners, little merits. The Iranian mission is proceeding well ahead of schedule. And I have to tell you, Wolf, that I'm a teenager who's considering military service, and I could give this team my highest compliment, from President Trump to the head of the Joint Chiefs to the Secretary of War. I would say that I would trust my child's life in their hands.
Well,
I do think that he is... I do think that he's freaked out, but I think it is a nervous excitement. He's salivating at the possible opportunities of this. I think his emotional state seems a lot more negative, but that's my autism against Jax at this point. I'm not great at reading people in particular, but generally it's not a great thing when someone on camera has to say, well, I'd trust my child's life with these guys. It's not great. Janet Snakehole. I love your username. And you are correct. Like, we should under no circumstances have boots on the ground anywhere in Iran. Ever. Oh, God. Terrifying. Thank you for sharing that with me. Maybe we'll cut that into a segment. Anyway, if you got anything out of that, like, comment, subscribe, and get organized. We need people to get organized, folks. We need folks showing up at their local Democratic meetings. We need people showing up at their city halls. We need people showing up, for the city council meetings. We gotta have people showing up at DSA. We gotta do the things. So, folks, join your local groups. Get active politically. Know what's happening in your neck of the woods. And if you need help starting that journey, join our Discord, reach out to Dragonfly for help with your local Dems, especially making them more progressive, and also reach out to GamerG for help making your DSA more effective, working for you and your community. And last but not least, check out ImogeneOlivia.com, gender euphoric lingerie designed from the ground up for trans femmes, also tested with cis men, cis women, non-binary folks. Everyone looks good in it. Check it out. It is comfortable, non-tucking lingerie. Whether you want an expanded gusset or you need a wider band size, we got you. All right. So check it out, and link down in the doobly-doo. Let's keep on going.
Riverboat Jack is coming to town. All the viewers gather round. Twitch and YouTube and swishy streams. All that content is bursting the seams. Politics, dating, plenty more. Your sense of fashion you'll adore. So grab your stuff and hop aboard. We're going straight to Jack's Discord. Riverboat Jack.